Netflix just got creamed on the stock market for falling subscribers, but why? Let's discuss. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Entrepreneur. Welcome to my media channel. If you happen to like discussions on Netflix, physical media, streaming, things like that, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell notification. We are trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of 5 years. Is that a good goal? Maybe 4 years. What the heck? Let's be optimistic. So anyway, chances are, if you are anyone, you got an email notification or a Google notification or a Bing notification, because this was apparently big news, that Netflix is in trouble. Netflix is in trouble. Their subscriber rate is falling. It is tanking. Thus, they got hit hard on Wall Street, and Netflix is basically going to the dogs. Now, of course, this is big news for, mainly for stock analysts, because it does put the fear of stockholders, it puts fear into the hearts of stockholders, I should say, who see something like Netflix, the number one streaming service in the world. They underperform. Their subscriber base slowed. People canceled. And that makes people wonder, is the whole streaming thing going down? Is Disney just proving to be too much of competition for them with Disney Plus? Maybe HBO Max is finally making headway. After all, Godzilla vs. Kong did very well. And the answer is honestly a lot more mundane, and people really should not be surprised this is happening. So, the CNBC article says Netflix falls on slowing subscriber growth, what Cramer and other market analysts would do now. So, anyway, we're just going to read this one line. Netflix's story is far from over, according to a smattering of stock market analysts. And of course it's far from over, because you have to first ask the question, now why is the Netflix subscriber growth stalling, and why are they losing subscribers? And guys, there's a very simple reason for this. A very, very simple reason. It's actually kind of the same reason why sales of electronics and stuff went up in the last year, and why Netflix grew so exponentially, and why every single company could release a streaming service, and they felt pretty bullish in doing so. And the answer is the pandemic. Seriously, that's all it is. People did a lot of streaming this last year because of the pandemic. They knew they were going to be stuck indoors most of the time, and therefore they started subscribing to basically any streaming service they could stream. I have so many streaming services now, and I didn't think twice about subscribing to them because of the pandemic, and then I decided to focus more on this channel, and as a result I probably can't cancel any of those subscriptions now if I want to talk about them. But the fact that people are moving away is not a surprise. Like, the pandemic was such a big deal, and it was so forceful in getting people to go into their houses and stay in their houses. I knew a family that before the pandemic began had decided they were going to take away the TV. They sold their TV. We're going to be a TV-free family because the kids watch too much of it. We'd rather them play outdoors. We'd rather them do arts and crafts. Look, I know some of you are laughing because that rarely works out. But the bottom line is they were really genuine. We want to get the TV out of the house. And what happens when the pandemic hits? Well, the pandemic forces them to go like, well, maybe we need the TV back. And they not only rebought the TV, but guess what? They subscribed to Netflix and Disney Plus, because of course you're going to do that. I think they also did a little bit of HBO Max once they found out Wonder Woman was going to be on it, but otherwise they tried to keep it simple. So the thing is, I'm not surprised that the Netflix numbers were so great this past year and a half. Or, yeah, it's basically been a year and a half. No, not a half, just a year. Because people were just stuck indoors. Everybody who knew everybody got Netflix. Even you actually started finding out how many people didn't have Netflix for a while who re-signed up for Netflix when the pandemic hit. Well, now the pandemic is not over, but it's slowing. We are getting vaccinated. I have my 2 shots. Thank you very much. Looking forward to rejoining the outside world. And a lot of people feel the same way. Hey, things are opening back up again. I'm getting vaccinated. I don't feel like being in the house anymore because I've already spent a year of my life in the house. We are starting to get back to normal. And as people start to get back to normal, you know what? They're starting to cancel some of these streaming services, and Netflix might be one of the first to go. It is the most expensive. It's probably the one that's watched the least when you get down to it. And people are probably looking at this and say, you know what? Even if I like Netflix, right now, the last thing I want to be doing is sitting at home on my butt watching TV again. I've been doing enough of that. I am going to take a trip. I am going to go to a theme park. I am going to see a Yankees game. Please don't throw things at the Yankee players if they are losing, by the way. I can't believe that people actually do that. But anyway, they want to do things other than sit on their butt and binge. So they're canceling. They are canceling their subscription. Now, here's the thing. Most of those people will be back in a few months because Netflix is just too mainstream. I mean, it's like a verb now. Like, you say, oh, what show are you watching? Oh, I'm watching this show. Oh, can I Netflix it? Kind of like how you can Google it. No, Netflix is too big. They're going to be fine in the long run. And they've now got so many shows and movies that they have made that, you know, they're a pretty viable competitor. Even if, for whatever reason, Netflix decided to give up the streaming wars, they as a studio are now very well established, and they could sell their content to other providers if they wanted to. They're not going to do that, and they're doing perfectly fine right now. But, you know, the thing is, yeah, this is just what's going on at the moment. Netflix is going to slow a little bit. Therefore, when they heard the earnings miss, Wall Street panicked, and the stock went from like 550 to 500. And, you know, unfortunately, that's also Wall Street. It's just terribly irrational. Long-term, Netflix will be fine. Now, do I think you should buy Netflix stock right now? You know, that's honestly up to you. It's $500 a share. That's pretty rich, even for my blood. But it's entirely up to you. I don't know if it's going to get that high again. It's probably going to continue to go down a little bit, in fact. But overall, Netflix is going to be fine. But I would like to ask you now, what do you think? Have you gotten rid of your Netflix subscription? Are you keeping it? Are you thinking about getting rid of it as you rejoin society and as the pandemic finally has a light at the end of the tunnel? I would love to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.